It's the book of Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. All praise be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achakwadash. Excuse me. Double honors the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. It's the brother Ashiel coming at you with another lesson of edification. We're going to get right into it. All right. And as you can see by the title, it's going to be about America, Babylon the Great. Okay. And the whoredom of this place, America, Babylon the Great. All right. So what I just read was and the greed, the gluttony. Okay. What I just read was Habakkuk 2 and 5 down to the 8th verse. All right. And it's plain to see when you apply these verses to what's going on in the world right now and the powers that rule the earth right now, it's plain to see that this is talking about the so-called white man. All right. And they are fitting the narrative of the biblical Edomites. Okay. There's no way that it could be talking about anybody else. Just read it. Take it for what it is. The scholars that try to mix it up because a lot of them damn scholars are Edomites themselves. Some of them are Jake. Some of them could be Jake. But, they when it comes to the topic of who is Esau, Edom, not anywhere to be found, but here it is. We're looking right at Esau, man. I probably just drove past Esau. I'm driving past Edomites right now, all over the place, man. That's one of the vexing parts of being in this kingdom. We got to be amongst you lesser beings, okay? Esau, Edom is the lowest of all nations. All the nations are beneath us, all right? As Israelites, we're above the rest of the nations, okay? People say, that's a prideful thing to say. That's wicked. That's evil. You can't say that. But it's just what the scripture says. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 says that Israel is above all nations, above all people. All right. So that's a vexation. They even have to be among these people. But it's clear to see, based off what's going on in the world right now, who Esau, Edom is. Okay. It is not a mystery to us. Yeah, they lower than Elam, and Elam hella low. 7-Eleven Slurpee. Looking ass niggas, man. That's these niggas, all right? And yet, Esau's lower than that. Smelly ass Elam. You even lower than that. Damn. But, breaking it down, because I did read Habakkuk 2, all right? And it said that he transgresseth by wine. brother, shut up, nigga. I'm not your brother. Bitch ass nigga. But yeah, man, we gonna mock you heathens, man. I mean, look at the way the Lord made you heathens, man. It's clearly you're the joke. The one who's walking around and the joke's on him, but he don't know it. It's all you heathens, man. Look at Esau. Look at how he looks. Stupid motherfuckers, man. Are you fucking retarded, bitch? Salaki, man. I'll be getting out of character, man. A little bit, but people, man. It's always a woman driving and don't know what the fuck she doing. Forgive me for that, Salakia. Getting back into it though. All right, he transgressed by wine. That's his philosophies, man. That's his philosophies, all right? That's him spreading his doctrine around the world. And right now, I was watching Elder Ariala's video, edifying, great video about, he was focused on, it was a World War III algo dealing with Glenn Beck. And I watched some of Glenn Beck's videos too. And it's plain to see when you watch that guy, Glenn Beck, that, he's lost, okay? And they get into these videos where he's breaking down what's going on, and somehow he's pro-Trump, but here it is, Trump is bringing in the same scriptures. He's bringing in the same fulfillment of Revelation 13 about this system, this oppressive system, the beast system. And then Trump has all these technocrats on his, that he brought in to do all these things with AI, and yet throwing billions and billions and really in the grand scheme of it, trillions of dollars at this thing. Okay. And somehow you think that he's for you. Okay. That's the delusion of the American Edomite, and you don't think that this is going to lead to World War III, everything that's happening, all of the things that's transpiring on the global stage. But it's all that delusion, man. You think that Trump is somehow going to go and fight the elites. He's proven to you over and over again, he's with it. He's with the shits. All right, but the focus of this lesson is going to be Esau's greed and gluttony. And his greed and gluttony is what's going to lead to his demise, just as it has in times of past. Okay, they always stress themselves out too thin. They did it in the Roman Empire. They did it when you examine the Greek Empire, the Seleucid branch of the Greek Empire. They did it. Antiochus Epiphanes did it. All right. And that was always the thing with Esau, because he rules by the sword. All right. And in ruling by the sword, nothing goes smooth. Okay. It always ends up tragically. It always ends up dramatically. It always ends up with violence. That's why we just read, for the violence. All right. It says, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and of the city and of all that dwell therein. Okay. That's what he has done. And he can never be satisfied. It's never enough, man. And that's why I titled this, The More the Whore Eats, the Hungrier She Gets. How do you continue to eat and you still get hungrier and hungrier? Haven't you had enough? But it's never enough for Esau Edom. It's never enough, man. And even if he accomplishes what he's looking to do, he's still gonna be miserable. He's gonna find a way to fuck it up. Let's say Esau were to go and get the plan off the way he sees it going down. He's gonna find a way to self-sabotage, man. He's gonna find a way to do it, because deep down he knows he's a little man that's been given a lot of power. He's a little man on the inside, all right? He's a base peasant who doesn't belong ruling the earth. But the Lord allowed it for a certain amount of time so that he could be exposed. Okay? But he's a base peasant. He's the lowest of all creatures, man. Okay? All the other nations, even Elam's stinky ass, you'll get him to wash his ass in the kingdom. All right? You better not come around smelling like how you smell now in the kingdom, nigga. I'm telling you that right now. But even Elam, even Moab, these other nations, they'll be able to still, exist. And after a certain point in our kingdom, you nations will get a fair shake. You're gonna have to serve your hardcore slavery, and you don't have to get your ass beat. But after a certain amount of time from getting your ass beat, you're gonna realize and begin to keep these laws, even though you're not gonna be perfect in it. And then eventually, you're gonna be cleaned up to an extent. We don't want these heathen at the same stank ass low level. You got to step your game up in our kingdom. That's really what it comes down to. All right, because we're gonna be perfect. All right, so we can't have you over here on some 7-Eleven Slurpee shit in our kingdom. All right, you better step your shit up. But Esau Edom being the lowest of them all, he can't. He's not gonna be able to enjoy. He's gonna just suffer, 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 and then when his 1,000 years are up, just gonna be eliminated. And this is the product of a nation that's bound for destruction, ruling the earth. The son of perdition, destruction. He brings destruction because he's hell bent. He's hell bent on destruction because his ultimate fate is destruction. You see, that's what he's destined for, destruction. So it makes sense that everywhere he goes would be death and destruction. Let me go ahead and read some of these precepts. This is Sirach 12:16, and it reads, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee in a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not." Oh man, I think there's more to that. Let's see if I can pull it up. But basically, you get the gist of the scripture. All right, that there comes a time where he's going to speak sweetly. All right, let me see. I'll just pull up the last little part of it real quick. Nobody on the road right now. Yeah, this is the book of Sirach 12:16. It says, "He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood." And that's Esau Edom. That's what they do. The small hats, you know, the elites of this world, they always crying victim. Okay, here it is. They talk about, yeah, they have a problem with dictators. Really, they have a problem with men that are in rulership, period, in a gynocentric world. So when Northern Kingdom saw them take down Maduro, it was just a man being deposed from power, bad dictator man, which I'm not saying he was righteous. But at the end of the day, what's going to replace him is not better than what was going on before. But the point being, they looked at dictators as bad. Guess what? Howard Shah is returning as a dictator, man. All right, a monarch in righteousness. Okay, and we're going to be dictators in righteousness. All right, but they act as though Trump is not. Trump is not acting as a dictator with everything. He's completely bypassing Congress on everything. He's acting as a dictator, and now everybody all of a sudden is all pro-America. See, when you get down to it, these people cry about Trump, but when you really analyze, they still with the shit. They still with America. They still with the whole patriotic, go Babylon, America. Yeah. That's what these people are about, man. All right, that's what they're really into. They cry about Trump. Oh, Trump, he's ICE and all this, but y'all really love this shit. You love America still. You might have your little gripes, but really deep down, you still love this shit. Especially you women. You love the setup. All right, where you have the liberty to do whatever you want to do. To be a full-fledged demon and to be a whore and to be sleeping around. That's all it comes down to. You could be hypergamous. You could keep your options open, instead of when you make the decision, really the man is the one that makes that decision. In the ancient times, it was really the families. But oftentimes the man would make the decision as well. The man would have more influence, I'll say. Okay. But it was a business transaction at the end of the day, joining two families together. Okay, but now they like this setup because, oh yeah, you don't have to be locked in with one man. Shit, you could date up. If the options open up, you don't got to be stuck with one. Yeah, he was making decent money, but look, there's always better. There's always better. There's always better. And then when you get to that upper echelon of men, they're not dealing with just one woman. Hell, even on the bottom, they ain't dealing with one woman. But when they on have more, financial freedom, then they could definitely have more than one wife and actually sustain it. Not just on some, I got baby mamas and a bunch of nonsense going on. It's actually sustainable for them. And y'all only want this one man, the Cinderella, to be the, to have the Cinderella story with you. And that's not going to be the case. So you constantly in a state of confusion. That's why the apostle Tahar called them chaos goblins, man. And that's the perfect phrase to describe them. They are chaos goblins, man. They do a lot of goblin. Damn, damn whores, man. But then again, tying it back in with America, that's what America does. They got it from their father, the devil. All right. Ye are of your father, the devil. Esau, Edom. His society is like that. He can't be satisfied. And the women that are raised up in his society, they can never be satisfied. The woman can have everything and she find a way to fuck it up. Look at Aisha Curry. She complaining and crying the blues. Meanwhile, you know how many women would, give, what they would sacrifice, what they would be willing to compromise on just to be in your position? But that goes to show they can never be satisfied. The same way Esau can never be satisfied. He has it all, world domination, and like I was saying before, even if he were to get it all the way he sees it going, he'll find a way to fuck it up in the end anyways. That's basically what he's doing. He's going to fire the Lord's going to put it on his mind to fire the missiles. And he thinks he's going to go into his bunkers. All right. Just for argument's sake, obviously we know this ain't going to happen. But if he were to go in his bunkers and come up out of the bunkers, the society that he creates is going to be more chaos and more wickedness. Not going to be a utopia. You think you're going to eliminate all these billions of people, which they show you that in the show Fallout. Spoiler alert if you ain't watched the show. But I'm going to speak on it a little bit, that in the show they had a scene where they have the elites. And in that show they have a nuke drop. Actually, a few nukes blown in that show. And basically, it's a desolate wasteland afterwards. But they go off because they're saying people still going to be there. Ain't nobody going to be there. America's going to be a desert and it's going to be uninhabited. But basically, they show you the scene where the elites, before they drop the nuke, they basically speaking among themselves and they're saying, and it was a nigger woman up in there, all right? And they're basically saying like, well, we have to be the ones to initiate. But they don't understand is the Most High is putting that thought in their head, and they putting it in the show because they're telling you what they're going to do. That's a part of their New World Order plan as well. They want to chip the people, and then their plan is to just wipe them out. Right, and then hide in those bunkers, and then those bunkers can sustain for a long time. They said, they got 100 years worth of food, sustainable hydroponic farms, and all that. But that's going to be to no avail because Yahweh Shai is going to crack them clouds, man. All right, and that's the wrench in the whole plan. Yahweh Shai returning, man. Okay. So the only hope is that what we're saying is not true. We're the only resistance against the elites and what they're doing, because everybody else is really just with it when you look at them. All right. Let me read some more of these. This is Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. See, in the fullness of his sufficiency, that's where he's at right now. He's at that point. Go take Greenland, go take Venezuela, go take Cuba. And the Lord is allowing that to puff his head up some more, When he, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. Right. What does that represent? That represents you being in your kingdom and you being at the height of your power and getting ready to fulfill your enterprise of the New World Order. And the Lord said he's going to rain it upon you while you're eating. Chariot beam going to split that table that you eating at. Okay. All right. Disintegrate the food in your plate. And you, well, you at least you're gonna be in the bunkers, and you're not gonna die in Armageddon, unfortunately for you, because you're gonna be the first fruits of slavery. All right. Because they can never be satisfied, man. All right. And that's why we read Habakkuk the second chapter. All the nations that you don't spoil, they're gonna be the ones to come against you and seek to destroy you. Okay. And they don't want it to go to Armageddon, the other nations. They're trying to find an amicable way out of it. They beat on their chest, but behind the scenes they be trying to make deals and shit. But you can't make a deal with this man. That's what you don't understand. Then again, they do have a sense of that at this point. But sometimes they might hold out hope and say, man, if we just make this deal, a little bit of uranium, and it doesn't matter what you do. And these people somehow think that, all of these nations being toppled and America just being the one world dominant nation, that's going to lead to some kind of utopia or some type of paradise. Look at how the earth is right now. Look at America itself. A mess. These people live in a delusional state, man. They're against the alphabet things, but there's still alphabet shit in all the movies. So if you was really against it, well, why wouldn't you ban it from being in all media? Because you're not. You're still with the shit, but you got to play both sides. And as Elder Ariala brought out a good point. Elder Ariala brought out the point that they really want America to continue. But what about the scriptures about Armageddon and the complete destruction of all the world powers? And that the Lord will be the one to reign, the one you ignorant people call Jesus. His real name is Yahweh Shai. He's going to be the one to reign. So how can you think Yahweh Shai is going to split his rulership with America? They really are delusional, man. How is that going to work, logically speaking? And these are the same people that'll be talking about the Lord and talking about being a Christian and being righteous, so-called, but they're all full of shit, man. You just want America to continue because that's your Edomite supremacist rulership. Okay? And Tucker Carlson over there shitting a brick, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to go watch his video. Brother had sent it to me about World War III. And he said, it's basically looking like it's inevitable. It's coming. The resources are being allocated. And that's really what it is right now, is everybody's trying to get their chips up and their weight up in terms of resources, taking what they can to prepare for this to prepare for this great war, which is also going to be a technological war with AI, man. So it goes deep, man. But that's what they were doing. All right, that's what they are doing with Venezuela, with different countries. They're amassing as much resources as they can. In the next few days, it's most likely going to go down. I mean, from how they looking, it's definitely going to be by the end of the month, and then weeks, we'll make a decision. And then they already made the decision that night is going to happen. So that Trump acknowledged that he lies a lot. So it should be no surprise that that's happening. Anyways, reading on, it says he shall flee from the iron weapon. Joel 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Right, the missiles. Okay. It ain't gonna go according to plan for Esau, man. Proverbs 27:20. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of men are never satisfied. Whew, that's a heater right there, man. Yeah, hell and destruction are never full. That ties back in with Habakkuk the second chapter, which we read, as death which is never satisfied. The grave. Graveyards are always getting filled up. The funeral business, they make a whole bunch of money off funerals, man. Okay? millionaires off of funerals, which is all a scam, anyways, man. You know, that's because the grave is never full. You're always gonna have business, right? But that's as so the eyes of men are never satisfied. And who fulfills that more than anybody? Esau, Edom. See, all right, Whitey, the cracker fulfills that more than anybody, man. Okay, because they'll try to say, "Oh man, humanity has destroyed the earth. Oh, humans are the worst." And the way that the world is set up now, humans are destructive. But who does it all stem from? Esau, Edom. He is the reason for all the problems. And then when you point it out, oh, you're racist. That's anti-Sem. Da da da. I mean, let's look at the facts and the history. He came here to the North American continent, and it was a paradise before you got here. And now look at it, a desolate wasteland. Made everything like a cave, man. Streets and cities, stacking house on one on top of another, man. You got millions of people living right on top of each other in New York City. That ain't how the Most High intended for people to live, man. But that's another example of you just being greedy. Oh, well, we can maximize the profit on one land. We'll put 100-unit building, and jam pack all these people, and they're gonna think it's luxury, or in the project building where it ain't luxury. You get a government contract or whatever and collect Section 8 or however they do it. And you get one plot of land and you making millions of dollars off that one plot of land. And you got all the people in one little part of the earth, man. Meanwhile, the earth is humongous. The earth is huge. You could spread people out and have them all over the place and having land and having produce. But no, you don't want that. You want it all for yourself. They wouldn't even give us actual food. They give us fake food, man. Who the fuck does that? Who takes food? Who thinks to say, you know what? The Lord gave these delicious fruits, nutritious, you know, we can sustain ourselves. You know what? Nah, he fucked up on that. We gotta take the seeds out of him first. Who thinks to do that? You gotta be a sick, twisted individual to think to do that. And I always knew that. Even before I was in the truth, I always thought about when I was in college, I used to argue with these scientific, stupid ass niggas about, GMOs and shit is all wickedness, man. Why do you need to alter nature? They would say, nah, I believe that we could do science, and this is the doctrine of Babylon. That's why it says he transgressive by wine. You have to mess with all of the fruits and the vegetables and the produce, to form something new, something wicked, man. So you can make money off of it because you can't copyright something that the Most High made. So if you alter it and put your stamp on it, then you can put a copyright on it and make more money. This is the devil that we're dealing with, So when people don't understand, if you can't fathom the judgment that's coming to Esau, Edom, it's because you're living in a state of ignorance. You're not aware of what he's actually doing. You think that shit is it's just how life is, and you don't question anything. You don't understand the world that's all around you, man. You're oblivious. Ignorance is bliss until prophecy come and hit you like a freight train, and it ain't gonna be bliss. Let's see. Let me get that one. Revelation 6:4. It's been coming out a lot. And there went out another horse that was red. All right, and the title, the name Edom, title of their nation, Edom, right, is Adawam, which means red. All right, Adawam, which means red. So the Lord be giving you clues as to who it's talking about. Okay, and power was given to him. Who gave him that power? Isaac. which was Yahweh Shai in his past life. It was all prophecy, man. And that was that sword. That was his blessing. His blessing is the sword. Who rules by military conquest and bombs and guns and violence and weaponry? Clearly, the so-called white man is the one that's doing that on the biggest scale. That's why, even though these nations talk shit against America, they really can't do shit. Because he's the hammer of the whole earth. Okay, just like when Babylon was in its seat of power, and they were just able to take down all these nations, that's because the Lord ordained it. Just the same way the Lord ordained for Esau to take down all these nations. But now we're coming to the point where let the weak say I am strong. They have their weaponry now too. Because in his greed, again, tying into him being a greedy whore, you know, that's the one characteristic of a whore, man. You know, she's just greedy. She never has enough. She just, you know, taking all types of rods, man. All right, but it says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him, let me see, unto him a great sword. I think that's the rest of the verse. So that's the blessing of the Edomite. And that's how they rule. And that's why there is no peace in this earth, man. But when the Prince of Peace comes, he's going to wipe this nation out. He's going to wipe Esau, Edom out. He's going to wipe out the power structure, man. Edomite power structure. AI, man. You think we're going to have AI in our kingdom? We're going to have supreme intelligence. We're not going to need artificial intelligence. The same way they pour in all these resources. You see what Esau has to do to have even a minor, not even comparable fraction to what the Lord is going to give us, freely given to us, man, because it's our birthright as Israelites. Okay, and Lord's will, we're the elect. We get to be the first fruits of it. We get to be the first partakers of that heavenly blessing. Here it is. He's going to pillage nations so he can pour it into AI, so he can have this AGI, or, you know, I think it's artificial general intelligence, or, you know, super intelligence of these computers. But here it is. The Lord is going to give that to us on a way higher level than you'll ever even imagine or be able to achieve in an instant. And we're going to have perfect bodies and live forever. You see? So who the hell, when you know what's on the table, which deal you going to take? You'd be a fool to take what Esau is offering, man. You'd be a straight fool to take that. You see? But that's Esau, man. That's his greed. His greed knows no bounds. Okay? And it's not like a regular person, once they eat, yeah, I'm full, I can't eat no more. Esau is not so. He eats and he continues to increase in hunger. There's an inverse relationship. The more he eats, the hungrier he gets. That's not normal. You're supposed to be satisfied after a certain point. You know? So this man is his own worst enemy, and the Lord has designed him with all that pride and all that evil and gluttony, all those characteristics he has, and those are ultimately characteristics that's going to take him down. All right, so that was the basically summary of the video, of the lesson. Lord's will was edifying. The water for you brothers for bringing out precepts. That was also edifying. I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Akak Wadash. Hey, shalom to the next one.